of revenge stories that you said, and how, well, maybe some players can be a little bit salty after they get dropped or are traded in for another. Let's find out, though, what you guys think at home. And it seems like most of you guys aren't going to be standing with SKC. Hopefully not because you think they are related to SK Gaming, because you'll be disappointed. I don't think they are. However, we'll find out in practice if you guys are wrong or not as we hop into the draft here for Super Beach. And Crow, Gray, and Janet are going to be banned out by Marruecos, as SKC will be banning out the Dynamite, Gray, and Max.
Yeah, BB in the first pick of SKC. I think, you know, it's a pretty solid one. Through the mid, you're always going to be able to pretty much fight against no matter who comes through there, whether it's long range or a little bit more tanky as well. Mid range can always work also. REZ going to be picking up that Otis early on, and you know, we've seen this time and time again. It's a huge pick no matter what region you go to. The mute, the fat splatter, the DPS that it brings out is always good. You can play it in that mid. You can also play it lane here if you do need to kind of pivot your comp around just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind the Otis so far. It has been one of the brawlers that has been just having the most playtime across the board, across all game modes and maps. Penny as well, especially here in South America. It's just been so popular. But it will be locked in now by Marruecos. SKC now get 2 picks in a row to try to deal with those ideas. The Otis pretty much making sure they don't go for anything over aggressive, although there are ways to try to still make it work. It is a bit of a scary prospect when you also have salty barrels to deal with, so that single-handedly should be but enough to get any of the sort of over-aggressive or tankier ideas just out of the mix. And it's going to be a spike, so again, a brawler we've been seeing more and more and more. Didn't necessarily get buffed too much. Obviously, he does have the new, I believe it is a mythical gear, but either way, it's a really strong one that makes the slow even slower. And it seems like that has been just about enough, combined with, you know, some other of the anti-tanks and tank counters kind of just dropping off and falling off from the meta to really get him back into position. And that means Ash now is going to be joining the ranks of SKC as well. And Marruecos, they need to draft very carefully, because Ash is one of those weird tanks that, as much as it is a tank, it plays a little bit differently and you can't counter it as straightforwardly. But they are going to be opting for a Buzz to kind of have that matching energy sort of vibe, and I'm all down for it.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. I mean, Ash, you know, he's got the robotic rats that are going to be pretty much splashed through by Penny, so going to have to choose his moment to throw that down. And when he doesn't have them, Otis should be able to deal with him somewhat. And Buzz, obviously a tank versus tank matchup, can go either way depending on the situation and depending on who's pinching. So definitely something I'll look forward to seeing who comes out on top of. But I mean, compositions-wise, I kind of like both. I think SKC have just got a little bit more versatility in there with the B and the spike. It kind of just gives them maybe the little bit of an edge, but it can really go anybody's way.
A good start, however, for SKC was a pickup on the left side. Lost the Buzz early on. That means a bit of a control advantage here now in favor of SKC. Marruecos playing it safe and respecting their opposition. Loco is doing a pretty fine job on his lane. Managed to push Onshi, is that what you said earlier? Onshi, all the way back to his spawn, but with some team wipes, or at least some lanes getting cleared up mid and left. It's going to be an early goal from SKC, a bit of an odd start to the game.
Yeah, definitely so. Loco trying to make a push through there, but Alchi over the right going to clean up that one. Prosy over the left, just going to get RHZ so low with those robotic rats coming down. He does get the stun back and get the clean up, but at the moment in time, still 1 goal up for SKC, so they've got some work to do, 1 minute and 25 to do it, so enough time to do so. But the splash coming through now, and Loco hitting some great shots. A turret wouldn't go amiss right now, as they really need that extra man to make the break.
Rousey taking a decent bit of damage, a stun that does connect from Riz, follow up from Eric. He gets muted with the ball, and it makes it very awkward. Surely Marruecos able to equalize there. There was a minute left on the clock. It's really anyone's game.
Yeah, this matchup over the left-hand side again. Get the stun and get the follow-up. He does manage to avoid that 3k as well, but does feed him another one. Gets the stun off once more, and the raged-up Ash does fall down. Alchi over the right-hand side, though, managed to clean up against that Penny, which is a great job considering a turret right about now would go quite a long way. Gonna have that rotation over to the right as Prozzy trying to match up against Loco, but an instant rotation as Reese comes back off that spawn and gets that correct matchup once more.
It's done there, not quite going to be enough to get that pickup. Alonso does have his supers, so could be quite valuable. It's for a charge shot later on, or to try to mute an over aggressive Ash. Sick, not quite going to find a connection there. Gets muted instead. Will take a decent bit of damage. The mortar is still making it a little bit harder to defend for SKC. A second left here. Bull going to be left on the left side. No curveball, by the way. It's fertilizer being ran by Alche. I just noticed that now. A pass to Exic. He's left in a 1v3, however, and he can't quite find anything just yet. He's going to be overwhelmed here in the defense, and surely that one is going to be...
Those initial matchups not going the way, and some better pinching from SKC, but they managed to get it a little bit better, and obviously Ree's going to be using this star power, which gives him that longer stun instead of anything else, which I think is quite a smart idea, especially against the Ash. Getting these shots through now, gets the takedown on the B, and they're not able to make a move because of it, as it was traded out, and Prozzy just being passed the ball over here, but can't push. The DPS and mute of Alonso that he would get is just too strong at the moment, but he gets the kill. Robotic Rat's available now as well, so I'm sure that'll go quite a long way when he does choose to use it, but ball being placed in the corner and just waiting this one out.
Prozzy playing it safe for now, and really looking to overextend just yet. RHZ now does have his super as well. Slow start of this game as both teams are looking to give anything away to their opposition. And so far, just basically playing max range and trying not to feed each other's supers.
Yeah, Loco, just a few shots into the wall and not able to get onto Alchi. Stun goes in onto those robotic rats, and now they're trying to make the move, but defense is still quite strong. Gets another stun available, doesn't quite use it. If they can just delay this a little bit longer, he's going to come off the spawn with that and be quite the formidable defender. Loco just managed to avoid a few of these fertilizer shots that aren't going to be spinning around, and now he does have that stun, and this should be a side win against Prozzy if he does get it right. But Exit coming up this mid, and the robotic rats do go down, but he gets the stun and actually gets it back, but can't quite use it in time, and Exit just going to be placing this, putting the Lassus on the left-hand side to try and wait it out just a little bit longer, but it is going to be burning down. Mute comes in on Prozzy, and still just complete stalemate, 0-0 still, and someone needs to make the move, and at the moment, it's Marruecos who are trying.
An opportunity there for Loco maybe to try to slow things down around that bow area. Otherwise, SKC could have maybe gone for quite a strong push. Feels like SKC have had just a little bit more, just a couple more opportunities to make something happen out of this game, but it's still an incredibly slow and passive approach from both sides, which can be quite a dangerous way of playing this one out. 10 seconds left until overtime, and that could be what we need to settle things in this game. You have quite a couple of supers available across the board. The slow there from Exic is going to connect. Prozzy pushing forward. The ball is cornered up, but Alonso is going to fall, and that means that SKC...
In that overtime situation, as he was just able to get that down and move on to the next target just as quick as that, to try and cycle those slows a little bit more and pick up a lot of kills. Let's just start this. We need these Rees over the left-hand side to try to do a little bit more against the Ash, just using his gadget up, and every time he just gets pinched and he's not really being aware of that situation. The Exic's just there waiting for him.
Prozzy aggressive, and it pays off. He gets the kill. He's going to try to reset as quickly as possible on the left-hand side. RJHZ does have his spool, and he's going to try to go for a play. Does he get it in time? Yes, sir. He makes it happen. I think a gadget to unlock his super there as well and get that charge shot. Beautiful play, and one that Marruecos quite desperately wanted.
I mean, that was just a massive turnaround there, really. Splash coming through. Can they get the defense off? He uses that turret on the wrong person. I'm not sure why he did that. He just knocked back Exic instead of the person who was actually carrying the ball forward, and that has got to be a blunder from Loco. Now doesn't have that super either, and that is an issue after coming off the back of such a good play from the Buzz. Teammates not really bringing the same energy to this one. Alonso, but his mute stun comes in and he gets it off, but can he cycle it enough to get another one off? He gets the mute there as well, though. Alonso trying to make the pass round, gets gets the Ash down, but no other moves are being made as it's slow and the gear is just so strong and just slows him down enough. Manages to survive it out though and trying to return to his original position.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he survived, and he's still up now too. Needs to be careful. If he falls, that could be an area that SKC could try to abuse all the way until they find another goal, a set-winning one as well. In order to keep Alki on his toes. So far, it seems like Marruecos are able to create some opportunities here and there. Prozzy, though, with a nice pickup. Loco gonna try to clear out the robotic rats as smoothly as he can. Finds an opening onto the spike, but it's still a 1-on-2, and it's in favor of SKC. The stun does connect onto Prozzy, but there's just no way to really capitalize. Ash just has too much HP to work with.
Yeah, well, Loco just trying to survive this one out. Wait for this overtime. The slow comes in. The super pass forward. Prozzy's there. Can he get the pass through? Oh, Alonso catches off the line. Keeps them alive. Ball to the corner. He gets the stun, but it's straight onto a lifeline, and he's going to be instantly eradicated out of that one. 3v1 here as Alonso, the only one holding on now. Loco has this super and needs to use it. It's going to be the knockback available. The only thing that's going to save them at this point. Slow comes in just in time to slow down Reese. Loco gets slowed as well, but catches the ball anyway, and he keeps them alive once more. Alonso, the only one, 1v3 once more, and it's always this respawn cycle, keeping them in. Alchio regresses, goes down. Alonso makes some nice shoots, gets the mute onto Prozzy as well, and they stay in it.
I don't know how Marruecos are still in this game. It seems like they're able to hold on for now. SKC gonna try to create that final opening. Prozzy was a big kill. That does mean the Buzz is gonna respawn with a super, but this should be a little too late here for Marruecos.
Prozzy had more than the entirety of the opposing team added up, so that's definitely a little bit worrying for Marruecos. And SKC looking pretty good at the moment. Controllers pretty much all the time in their hands, but open zone on hot zone going to be up next, and honestly it's a bit more of a long range, more strategical kind of long distance firing, so it could be a little bit better for Marruecos. But at the moment SKC seem like the favorites coming into this one, regardless of all our predictions going the other way, and even looking like the more experienced players. They just don't seem to have what they had last year coming into this one.
Yeah, we just didn't really see it in practice so far. Now, it was only a set. It could just be an outdraft or you know, some time required to really warm up and get comfortable. But this time around, they can't really afford to do as many mistakes, because if they lose a second, they will be in quite a bit of trouble. A first pick of Crow this time around for SKC, as Marruecos are going to be bringing in Amber into the action. Our bans, by the way, for SKC were Bilola and Carl. For Marruecos, they were Stu, Poco, and Meg.
Yeah, well, so far I like the picks. I always vouch for an Amber on this map, especially in Crow, just as good. Bonnie going to be the next pick for Marruecos, and a bit more range, definitely quite slow, but I mean, with a Crow slow, it'll probably go even further than that and will struggle to move. But I mean, Crow as a first pick, I feel is better than both of the brawlers we're seeing on Marruecos at the moment, and they've still got 2 picks to come in a row now, so those next best brawlers will be picked up by them. You know, Poco being banned out of the way, you can sometimes see that Pam as the healer, but at the same time, Amber's pretty much going to be able to burn through anything that she wants to do. It's just going to be pretty good against that Bonnie to have that big HP pool, and we're going to go with the max and going to go for a bit more of a speedy route instead.
Yeah, I don't mind it per se, especially with you know, the Crow on your side as well. You're able to both adjust the pace by speeding it up with the max or slowing it down with the Crow, and it's always something I quite enjoy to see, especially on very open maps. As well, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that open zone is one of those. The final pick from SKC should be coming any moment here. Try to solidify the team composition, and it's going to be a Pam, which we aren't seeing the most at the moment. I feel like it was being played a decent amount in scrims, but in the actual monthly finals, we haven't really seen all that much Pam, and this is one of the maps where we do tend to see it a bit more often, because you can use those walls very intelligently to place your healing stations and just have pretty much a way to be in zone whilst healing, which can be very valuable.
Yeah, you know, I do like the Pam pick. I think the Squeak's good as well. Going to be able to stick the residue down the side that the Amber's not burnt down and get a bit of scouting of that. And also at the same time, if the Pam does place it behind a wall, you're going to be able to get some hits on those one tile thick walls with the squeak shot on the other side of it. So I like it because of that as well. The Super's going to be very influential with the slows also, without, you know, having the Crow and the Max being in play as well. You do need to get pretty much all the slowing value you can. So I do like the squeak pick, but at this point, I'm kind of siding with the SKC comp just a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there for the most part. I think both comps kind of have their own legs, but I mean, I like the Crow and the Max a lot. I think Pam in the mid can also be quite a threat. We'll have to see if they are able to find the sort of assassinations that we are going to require on the Bonnie, for example, for Marruecos to really open things up, or maybe some really well-placed
that spawn the same way that SKC would do to them. So we'll see how that plays out as we do eventually get into the game now. Exic just trying to make a move down this left-hand side, giving Reese back just a little bit, but Alchi established himself nicely in the mid already. But that oil's just going to be burning down the Max in a slow from the residue straight onto the Pam, and it's flip of the script as Marruecos start strong.
Dude, that was such a big push from SKC early on. I love how Loco also just proactively played with the healing pad to stay alive from the Crow poison, and that actually won him his lane because Brazzy did not seem to be expecting that sudden healing to come true, and eventually did end up going down. Well, there's a bit of a chance here. The healing station plays down as well. Loco is going to fall, and a nice juke there from Prosy not to be hit by that frostbite from Alonso. This means that SKC have their opportunity to be in the zone. And I think the left lane is where they can try to get the most value out of those matchups. I feel like Squeak just doesn't really have any matchup going for him. And with a map this open, it's really hard to hold on to the chokehold. It's going to be nice to take care of healing stations and anything placed behind walls. But besides that, it's going to be quite challenging to find connections straight up on other players.
Yeah, holding control nicely. They've got to be a little bit cautious of Loco once he's healed up, though, to get that jump in and get the damage through. Exic does get the kill, but he gets traded out straight away. Can Alchi clean this one up? He gets one, but he walks straight into the damage of Reese there with his squeak shot. Jump through from Prosy now, and he's just looking for the instant control back before the whole of Marruecos does return. Speed available now as well, and Alchi's got this turret. There's no squeak to take it down just yet, so they're going to establish themselves really nicely. Scrap Sucker through, and Loco's got no ammo. Alonso's very low as well, and 10% needed with a bit of aggression from this Pam. They should be able to finish this one off right now.
Yeah, this is some really solid stuff. If SKC are going to be continuing that streak and make it a second set. Yeah,
well, they did have a good start in the last one, but it was pretty much instantly turned around by SKC, so I need to try and switch this one up a little bit of a lane swap from Exic and Alchi early on, and just trying to play these matchups a bit better than what they were doing off the start. 20% already gone in favor of Marruecos, so need to kind of wake up just a little bit, but it's not too far gone for them to bring it back, regardless of Exic being traded out there.
And you'll see Alonso take quite a bit of damage, and again playing around the healing pad to heal back up, as Loco does have his jump. Might try to utilize that on the Pam. He's going to pop a gadget instead. He's finding some good value. The one kill. Prosy is going to be popping the shield. He's not even playing the slow. What is this?
I mean, that's a rarity, to be fair, but he gets caught out by Alonso as well, but he's kept them low enough to be able to be cleaned up by Exic. Surely gets the phase shifter through, managed to survive long enough to get the takedown. Pam's got the turret there as well, and the Scrap Sucker. Loco not even going to contest the zone because he knows he's going to go down, and he needs to wait for his teammates to come back up for them to have a chance at retaking here. Speed available once more by Exic, and he's playing this so well, so aggressive on Alonso and Reese, and I do like that a lot. But Loco, he gets the jump in on the Pam, and he gets the takedown. Was Scrap sucked, but Exic can't quite finish it off just yet, and they're not going to rush anything on the side of SKC because they're 30% up.
Healing station placed down. The Mama squeezes wall, getting a slight connection onto Loco, but anything too worrying. A shield pop now by Prosy, and I mean, the shield is working out, it seems like. It's just curious to me because this is the most open map in the game, and that's usually where slows are going to be so effective. But I don't mind the idea of just doubling down as an assassin and jumping into the action, popping a shield, and making sure that you have enough HP to really deal with those fights. Exic has been finding so much value, and honestly, getting 2 kills out of 3 there probably is what's going to be securing the game here for SKC, although Marruecos are able to get back into the mix. That slow onto Exic is violent. Prosy might have to go for a desperate jump here. He needs to heal back up a little bit. It's not going to get cancelled, however. He lands, gets some good value. Loco is...
They got 2 kills, and they were just waiting for this Pam to come back up and get some control, and she just died instantly to the Bonnie. Positioning wasn't great, and honestly, I think they might be able to win this next one, but I do think they should have closed out that second set there. But Marruecos there, looking to try and bring this one back just a little bit. Exit going aggressive and getting the kill. Scraps coming through on the right-hand side to assist Prosy getting down Alonso, and he does just that, surviving a little bit longer. And now they do have control, and this is a bit of a better start than what we've seen in the previous ones from SKC.
All right, so far, so good for SKC. Healing station placed down as well. Exit does end up going down. Alonso taking a decent chunk of damage as well. The healing station just keeping everyone healthy and in the mix for now. A jump in from Loco. Nicely anticipated the movement as well from Alchi and is able to get that pickup. Exit is so low HP. He gets dealt with ease. As Prosy does have his super. Might go again for jump in and shield. So far, opting to just play max range and play it safe. Keep them low. The poison as well, making sure that every time he does get a connection, keeps them low HP. He's gonna go for the widest flank ever, pretty much, and the Observer is following him as well, so he does end up getting shut down. A questionable jump, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he had such a good opening. He went pretty much the one spot that wasn't going to hit anybody with the damage. But at the end of the day, his teammates were able to get on the zone because of his flank. And I'm not sure that's what he intended to do, but it ended up working anyway. Exix sitting on this healing pad, just dominating up top. And he does a really nice job of getting the kill. Those healing pads really coming into their own, especially in the South America region. Exik going to pick up the kill as well, does get traded out. But this should be an SKC game. However, I said that about the last one as well, and it didn't end up being. Jump comes in from Loco, vertical jump from Prosy, turret from Alchi, and then they do.
Making overall, I think the Max also played really phenomenally. I think it was Exik. Just mechanically really impressive and able to get away with things you really shouldn't be, and getting a kill or two here and there when, you know, he should not have been allowed to get those kills in the first place. So I'm quite impressed by some of his plays, and the rest of the squad as well doing a fantastic job. But I thought he did somewhat shine on that max pick at creating the space his teammate needed to play it a little bit safer and at a distance and still be able to remain in that zone and get percentage after percentage. It's going to be a bunny first pick here for SK Calalas, and the bans were Carl, Piper, and Max on their side, as Marruecos banned out Eve, Lola, and Otis. Some interesting bans across the board here.
Yeah, I mean, this region seems like Bonnie quite heavily. I'm not sure. Yes, it's good on safe zone. It's got some range. It's got the ability to jump in. But, you know, I much prefer a more consistent mid-brawler such as B, as Marruecos have just chosen. You're going to need those select few moments where you get the breakaway play, where you get the jump on safe and the damage that are the influential ones. But B's going to be dominating you in that tank form for a lot of the game, and Ruff's adding to that as well. I think it's another solid pick. When you get that wall break, you're going to be able to control that right-hand side quite well, and they might even go for something else down that right-hand side with Brock still being in play. That's definitely something I'd have swayed to a lot more than Bonnie.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think that Bonnie first pick is kind of a wild one, to be honest. They'll go with Brock, so kind of just doubling down on the sharpshooter aspect of this comp. The free wall break as well, that helps gain that early map control and maybe remove some of the annoying walls on this map. With three free wall breaks as well, you can really just clear out all the annoying positions that you might be facing, and if you still need more, you do have your rocket ray to help out with that as well. SKC are going to be going for their final pick now, and it is going to be Spike. Brawler again that we've been seeing more and more often, and it makes sense here as well. Quite an open map, make that curveball do its own thing, try to get some nice connection, and whether it's your super or your regular shots, you do have some DPS on safe. So I like the idea overall here from SKC, just a little bit doubtful about that Bonnie, as they're gonna go for a Colt, which in my opinion on a map like Safe Zone kind of cheap, feels like the cheap alternative with Brock.
Oh, definitely so. And I mean, you know, I don't like Bonnie, but I also don't really like the Colt here in comparison to getting the Brock. And they did have the chance to get the Brock as well. Let's not forget about that, because Bonnie being the first pick. But I mean, I also kind of don't know about Spike. Yes, it's going to have that curveball. Yes, it's going to be able to do a decent enough job against the roughs at certain points, but also they're not going to have that matchup. We're going to be seeing Prosy over the right-hand side with the curveball against Reese. And Loco surely just got to walk straight through Exit here.
Yeah, so far it's looking pretty good for Marruecos. RHC is taking some good damage, but a charge shot from Loco is going to connect. The slow won't. RHC able to get a couple of shots on safe. Yeah, some interesting decisions here and there so far. But it is a 19% early lead in favor of Marruecos, and some brilliant dodges from Loco. A little bit less careful now. Takes a big chunk of damage, but does have supply drop heading his way to buff him up and make his matchup even more dominant.
Yeah, well, curveball's starting to hit now. Rocket Fuel not going to make the connection onto Loco, but they have decided to make the conscious decision of moving that Brock to the mid and allowing Bonnie to actually have a fighting say in the game. Prosy just trying to walk up this round side, get a little bit more control against Reason. That's going to be a pretty influential matchup if these curveballs start to connect. Power up now being picked up now as well by RHZ, and I just feel like that's going to be a nail in the coffin for Prosy here, as he was getting pretty much beaten anyway.
Yeah, it's such a terrible matchup for Exik on the left-hand side because he's feeding so many free shots, and at the end of the day, I think everyone is buffed up now on the side of Marruecos, and surely that should be helping them win those matchups. Prosy is low HP. Loco not being very careful there. He does survive somehow. This is an opportunity to get some damage on safe, and SKC should be able to take over the lead to jump in, and he doesn't even get to land, really. Immediately taken out. Alchi able to get some more shots off on that safe. Another supply drop to buff up his teammates that went down, and another pickup from Alonso. He's been pretty much the only one able to keep up with the defense so far. But it does mean that SKC have a little bit of a lead for now. Quickly caught up, though, Marruecos, as they have that Colt beaming down the safe.
Yeah, Colt getting some good shots there. The power up on Loco as well could be dangerous. 15 seconds left. They need to get out of this spawn trap. It's 1%, and that Colt super is missed. Prosy trying to make the move for the X. It's going to jump forward. Can he make the dodges? He can't. But moving forward is Alchi. He needs to get the shots off. He kills Alonso. 4 seconds, and he makes the hits. He gets them down. The damage is there.
Room for mistakes anymore. They need to win this one and the next one if they want to stay in this match. And right now, it's been more than they were ever able to handle. SKC on match point.
Yeah, Loco starting down the side, and also a lot of the bad start did come from the fact that we had that Bonnie versus B matchup, and now they've kind of straightened that out at the start. It might even go a little bit better for SKC in this game. Loco trying to move forward, and Alchi quickly saying no to that, but Prosy once again having a tough time, and he's low already. Doesn't want to go down so early on, but also if he's going to beam through, oh, the silver bullet finds the kill through the life plant. The rocket fuel was trying to get the return, but could not make the connection. 7% already been taken off, and Exik having to move back as well, as he can't really do a lot. He was holding his lane, but his teammates just aren't.
For some connections with curveballs, get some onto Loco, but the beams from RHC are on point. As I say that, he's going to whiff a couple. It is a 14% lead for Marruecos. There's a decent amount of burst on damage on safe available for SKC, so if they only get 1 or 2 openings in this entire game, that could be enough. But so far, we have yet to see them, and we are slowly heading towards the final minute of this game.
Follow-up shots are there then, and the takedown as well. 14% has been dealt. There's 2 sandbags going to be cleaned up by a shot from Alchi, but nothing else really coming from it. 3K going to connect on the save as well, but those curveballs did hit. And RZ starting from spawn again, needs to try and make the push forward and secure maybe a little bit more damage, or as we could be seeing a repeat of last. Rosie just slowly but surely moving up. Got the super now as well, and that's going to be pretty influential going into these last 40 seconds of the game. Loco 3K not hitting, curveball actually hitting, and this could be another turn.
Pressure is high here for Marruecos. They are facing a match point, and right now they have the lead, but the clock is ticking down if they're not careful. They're only spending the last 20 seconds of this game in defense, and that means that if anyone falls, if there's any weak links, that might be enough for SKC to claim victory and take them out of the equation altogether, as Eric is pushing up. Exit with the jump onto the save, gets some damage, but they still need 12% more, and I don't know if they'll be able to get that done. Archie with the super.
He was going to do more of the same and manage to clutch it up and take the game back for his team once again, but this time they did have the defense covered, and I'm honestly surprised Exit didn't do more with that Bonnie jump. Even more changes coming into the start of this game as SKC move the Bonnie over to the right-hand lane and have Spike trying to fight it out against the Roughs.
Yeah, trying to get the right lane swaps and right matchups in their favor. So far, a start that does seem to be slightly favorable to Marruecos again. Moving up towards Loco will be tanking those two Brock shots, meaning he needs to respect that and fall back. Gets hit again. Slowly but surely, SKC are pushing upwards. Some of those walls removed, which can be quite beneficial for Prazi on his matchup against the Roughs. For the time being, no damage on save just yet, and it feels like Marruecos are the ones retaking the mid quite nicely now.
Yeah, Loco getting hit pretty hard. Brozy now moving a little bit further back. Alchi trying to get little by little forwards. No shots are really connected onto Loco, and he just gets this 3K off a different player or even himself, and manages to push forward because of it. That honeycomb providing quite useful, and there's the little turn from Alonso, gets Prozzy down, and nice from him, baited him in and then took him down. 3K hits, and now a lot of damage should come down as well, but Exic just holding on, not letting them have this kind of push and pop that gadget to kind of stop it. But RHZ now got super, and only clips about half it onto safe, but they're going to get a team wipe, and that is going to be almost enough damage to tie up the past games. We'll see if SKC can get more damage in this one.
So far, things are looking much better for Marruecos. The previous game as well already was. Let's see if they can hold on to that. For now, as Rocket Rain doesn't really find too many connections, and this Loco heal back up. Shield gear building up as well, and giving him quite a couple of opportunities here actually to get some damage on save. Obviously it's a B, not the highest DPS on save, but still 45% lead in favor of Marruecos, and SKC so far very shy heading into the final 12 seconds of this game.
Mixic's got his jump now though. Prozzy too low, but Alonso is going to fall quite short himself. Loco going to get jumped on, but he gets the 3K and he gets the kill. Followed up on Prozzy as well, and that is going to be the set going to Mawake.
Of momentum, and you know, they kind of rode off that, but at the end of the day, Marruecos were able to bring it back, and a Layer Cake Bounty is their chance to even out this match, bring it all the way to a 5th set. They can't afford to fail either, because if they lose just a single game, it's straight back to a square one, and that would be a match point again in the hands of SKC. So a careful but confident approach is going to be required for this one.
Yeah, well, Layer Cake is the map, and honestly, well, I mean, I'm seeing a Janet first pick there anyway, sneaking in the side, and it's good. It's got some range. It's got some legs at close range as well. If it's a more of a squishy brawler coming towards him, can get those opportunities seized up. Band's going to be Grey, Grom, and Tick on the side of Marruecos, and then on the side of SKC. Got the Poco, got the Grom, got the Grey. Don't want to be seeing anybody TPing in, but also don't want any healing, and clearly feeling a little bit better about themselves at this long-range matchup. Otis going to be their first pick, and it's got the mute, it's got the damage. I do like it, but does lack a little bit more range if the Marruecos are going to go a bit more sharpshootery.
Yeah, the option is there for sure for Marruecos to go down that path. We'll see the Penny again on the side of SKC. Not a brawler I mind here either. I don't know if I necessarily love the Otis and Penny combination on Layer Cake, but we'll see what they have in mind. Sprout is still open as well. But you need to make sure that you also have, you know, some anti-tank measures on your side if you decide to go for a Sprout in this sort of situation. Let's find out, as they now have 2 picks in a row for Marruecos. They'll go max. I'm not really expecting any sort of throwers anymore. Maybe they would go for a tank themselves, although there is a risk that SKC could find just the right counter as their final pick.
Yeah, I mean, I like the max. Got to have that aggression with it, but at the same time, you've got to pair it with something, and that's what they're going to be looking forward 4 on this third and final. Penny, on the other hand, you know, it's just more consistent. You're going to have the turret, and you're going to have that 4th member on the map dealing some damage. Carl, you know, it's good. Flying Hook going to be forwards, and it pairs well with the Max at certain points, but with this last pick of SKC, I feel like they might just take this one.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard comp, I would say, on the side of Marruecos. Not necessarily the top meta approach, but none of those brawlers are like incredibly rare to see in this sort of setting. So I don't mind it too much. Doesn't have the most fluff either, and Daryl definitely is the fluff I was looking for, as SKC will be bringing out one of the most, well, actually the most present tanks in this region. I think it's probably the most played tank across the board here in South America today. Impressively enough, see him here in Layer Cake, and he can definitely do some big damage against this comp from Marruecos.
Yeah, I mean, against Carl, it's going to be very, very solid. Janet doesn't have a lot of DPS either, but can quite a lot of the time fly away from it. But that's using a super that you want to otherwise use for different things. Alonso going to have that Flying Hook, and it's guaranteed blue star for Marruecos, but it's just what SKC do to return it that's going to be the exciting thing.
Exik is pushing forwards. He gets tagged up quite heavily, but is able to start healing up as well, as Loco does his best to reset his heals. RHC pushing all the way up to the top right and placing down that gadget as well to ensure the good positioning. Alonso able to find another as well, and that's 5 stars now in favor of Marruecos, and it's looking we might have a little bit of a comeback in our hands.
Yeah, the game definitely seeming close to the rotation from Exit, though, to try and get back on Alonso. I mean, him being Alonso to start with didn't really work the best, so he's going to try to follow him and repair what he hadn't done before, trying to juke this roll. Now he is in range, gets the slow off, but the Flying Hook backwards, giving pretty much all the control to SKC at this point, but Exik, he's going to need some help for his teammates if he wants to stay in this position, and Prozzy is providing it, but whilst doing it, he does get hit pretty hard and has to back up.
Go, trying to get some pokes out and unlocks his super. 3 supers available for Marruecos, and speed is going to be popped. Exik has his roll as well. Alonso trying to be careful here as RG is forced to fly up. Alchi has taken quite a bit of damage, should get taken out, but instead gets the kill. Quite a significant one, because now it's only a 3-star difference, and a kill on Alonso would be enough to turn things around in favor of SKC in the next 25 and final seconds of this game.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for a mute. We're going to be seeing a penny turret surely being moved further up once he gets it as well, and the roll is going to be what decides the game. Alonso moving away from it, as he is obviously quite scared of that. But even a roll on any of these 2 members is going to be enough to secure a kill at the moment. Alonso's going to get knocked back when the penny turret's dropped through. Comes the roll. The slow hits him as well, but he's turned. He's going for Alonso for some reason instead of committing. The penny turret's there, but all of them are falling, and I'm not sure.
Right, well, it's going to be something that will be biting them back, because it was definitely winnable in that situation. However, they let it slip through, and now this is the last chance for SKC to try to make something out of this set, as Marruecos might just be evening things out and bringing us to a 5th and final set.
Yeah, we see that Fat Splatter taking that down, and Exik being kept so low, and they're just not in a position where they're staying up, and just dropping like flies. Exik, with the amount of health he's got, you should expect him to be able to avoid shots and stay up and make these rolls, but we haven't seen really one successful aggressive play from him so far.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem as well when you're bringing a tank in a game with like Bounty is, as much as you have one of the strongest tools at offense, you have one of the weakest ones at defense, because you can't really hold your opponents at bay, especially, you know, in the longer angles. You're going to be forced to just walk back behind cover and give away so much map control unless you're proactively attacking with your team and going for some assassinations or openings. But right now he's had his roll for pretty much a minute and a half and he's yet to use it.
Yeah, difficult situation for him. Finds the roll now, but does hit it onto Loco, gets the double bounce as well. That should be a kill, and he just about secures it. I was about to say he didn't as the phase shift away, but they've got some control now, and the turret being put up, but around the backside, R8Z just making some moves, getting some shots on both Exit and the turret again now. Has his roll once more, and that needs to be connecting onto someone, as they're going to need 2-3 kills to even be able to turn this one around.
And Alonso still sitting on that super. Daryl as well, kind of trying to cancel each other's supers out if possible. 10 seconds left. Loco looking for that opening. Exit trying to heal up, and he's going to go for the roll onto Loco, and Loco somehow survives as well. Again, a disaster here for SKC, and out of as challenging as it is to pull off a reverse sweep, after you've won 2 sets in a row, being 2-0 down, you kind of have the advantage to my eyes, because you have all the momentum in the world in the 5th and final set. That one is going to be on Hard Rock Mine gem grab. And right now, I'm really, really scared, or I would be if I were SKC, because the last 2 sets were not looking too good.
Well, bans are in. Great. Poco, Ash, we don't want any of that TPing in or healing or tanks. A little bit of a covering all fronts kind of bans there from Marruecos. SKC just getting rid of those bouncy brawlers in Rico and Ruffs and Max as well as that. Janet going to be the first pick. And when is Janet not a pick at this point in this region?
Yeah, we've seen so much Janet. Pretty much expecting Otis now at this point as well. Maybe a Stu joining directs as well. Yup, the Stu. Which basically means a spike, doesn't it? And a penny is no surprise either.
Apparently we're going to be taking a penny.
Yeah, we'll see the spike on the other side. Marruecos are bringing a spike.
Honestly, they probably will do knowing this. But I'm looking towards the Carls or something like that. We're still looking for some mid brawlers as well, because we haven't really found any yet. Possibly even a Gus or something like that we've seen sneaking further and further into the Hard Rock Mine meta. But Penny, I like that. You know, it's a long range brawler that's not usually played in mid. Oh, we're gonna go with the 8-bit, and that's gonna pretty much get rid of the fact that Gene would be a possibility, and 8-bit's just all around really, really solid mid here. Marruecos starting things off very strong in my opinion with this draft.
I really like the 8-bit here, to be completely honest. I think it is one of the most dominant mids you can get on a map like Hard Rock Mine, especially if the draft sets up nicely for it. They're going to go Otis, which, again, not the biggest surprise. I feel like both teams have had a somewhat limited brawler pool so far. SKC now, they have the chance to hit and hit hard with their final pick, and they're going to go Lola, which is going to be their gem carrier, most likely. And then they will be having... I mean, they have the opportunity to switch, potentially, depending on what they want to do with, for example, the Stu or even the Penny. But really, Lola seems like the more realistic mid here, to my eyes.
Yeah, as much as it pains me, I do think that Marruecos are going to be reverse sweeping this one with this composition. I just feel like it's got that little bit better of a mid, and just that little bit more versatility in there as well. Otis down the lane, really, really strong. Same with Janet. And I just feel like it's going to be that mid matchup that's the one that's really swaying this battle.
Should just have picked Spike. All right. Jumping into this one. Set 5, and I think it's straight to the grand finals. Salty Barrel popped by Proz, easily taken care of on the right side. So far, it's been a bit of a struggle for the 8-bit, but that's fair, as long as he doesn't have his damage booster and the speed boost that goes with it. He's gonna be struggling a little bit, but he does find it now, evens out the gem count, and is very much all Marruecos in the mid now. Not much of a chance for SKC to do anything at this point. Alchi even ends up going down. RHZ able to steal those gems, and that means we're near enough a countdown now for Marruecos.
Yeah, 1 gem left, and he's got that TP back as well, I imagine, so just going to be waiting for it here. Doesn't find it on his side, sadly goes to the wrong side of that, considering Lola's got that ego up, and it's going to be a lot more damage through it, but there's the gem. Can he grab it and TP back? Doesn't even need to use that cheat cartridge just yet. Prosy standing still and just getting his turret now. Exit making the move around this right-hand side, and instantly RSZ sees that and just takes him out with the flight.
This seems like just a routine game, really, for Marruecos. Marruecos side? This is worrisome stuff, as it is now match point for Marruecos, and they're a game away from completing a full-on reverse sweep. And to be honest, you mentioned it earlier, I don't think Alonso used a single cheat cartridge, besides the, like, kind of the flex one at the end, right? But besides that, he didn't use a single one, and usually it's one of the things that's a little bit scary as an 8-bit, that, you know, you have to decide when you use them, because you want to make sure you have enough of them for the entirety of the game, and you don't end up being slowly walking around at the last stages when you're holding on to like 8 or 9 gems. But that seems to be an absolute non-issue so far for MRC.
Yeah, well, it is 5 games in a row, and that was against a full match point as well in that safe zone match. They're just so consistent since that, and I think that's just how experienced they are showing through. Another turret available, just trying to stop Exit from breaking it down here, and he's also holding 2 gems as well, so worth the time of bringing him down. But it's like he's making the moves, he's making the dashes and getting the shots, and there's a cheat cartridge to get him away from that one. But he's actually put himself closer to their spawn. Does go down, and now REC not going to be able to get it either. Alchi going to get the kill, and that's 9 gems in the hands of SKC now, and it's just back and forward, back and forward.
There's no way that after 5 games lost, they'll be bringing it back to a double match point now. REC with a wide flank on the right side. Exit goes down. It's going to be enough to cancel the countdown. The mute connects as well. That could be massive, as Alchi is still standing, but ever so low. Doesn't end up going down. And this looks like SKC should be able to lock this one in. And we are indeed going to end up going to a double.
Definitely not what we expected to see, but SKC or Marruecos, who's going to come out on top?
This is the opportunity to find out. Early start should be favoring the low level, things considered. Is trying to go for those 2 gems that spawn on the enemy side, but Alonso not quite gonna let him do just that, and ends up picking them up. Feeds into that damage booster as well. Chance to build up a nice and healthy early gem lead on the side of Marruecos. 2 more gems spawning there, and he knows he can afford to take those sort of risks, as he could just TP back with a cheat cartridge, and that's how strong 8-bit can be on this map.
I mean, it's similar start to what we saw in the previous game. Just it was massively turned around. Drop the base B in place just to reset some of Alchi's healing, and he does that himself with the shots towards it anyway. 7 gems in hand, and I believe a couple more are laying on the floor a little bit further back as well. So that's going to be 8 and 9 spawning in a second. There it is, 1 gem, and this could all be over for SKC. Alchi's got it on his head. He is muted, and he's not going to be able to do a lot. That should be a grab of the gem and a walk back. Countdown starts, and this is match point as well. So after this long road, Marruecos might be able to reverse sweep.
Yeah, this is looking phenomenal for Marruecos. Prowsey should be going down there quite smoothly. And indeed, the final spray from Alonso to take care of him, and there